I received such a great question that I'm super excited to share my feedback with you regarding that question. The question was, Brenda, do you have any suggestions or feedback on how to effectively promote EAP programs? EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program, because specifically this person pointed out that those types of programs in the past have been historically underutilized. And I'm going to share with you right now that it's still the case. Those programs are still very underutilized. And so I'm excited to share with you my top 3 tips on how to increase engagement in an EAP program and how to incorporate it with your wellness program strategy. Okay, you ready for this? Let's do this. Tip number 1 is going to be to share stories about what people can get out of the EAP program. Okay, and to expand on that, let me tell you a quick story. So I first heard about the Employee Assistance Program, the EAP program, back in 2014 after I gave birth to my first child. I was working for Willis Towers Watson at the time. It's a global brokerage firm. And I was reading about all of our own benefits as an employee. And I came across the EAP, and so I decided to check it out for myself. They were able to help me with things like setting goals. I enrolled in something called like goal-oriented therapy because I'm first generation Mexican American, and if you go see a therapist, it's like your family thinks you're crazy. And this therapist that I was referred to by EAP was amazing. It wasn't like you go sit in her office and she's like, tell me about your childhood. No, she was like, what's the problem? Asked me a lot of great questions and immediately gave me resources and tools for me to be able to help myself. So at the time, I was struggling with, how do people do this? I was a first-time mom, managing a career. I had been married for about 3 years. And it's like, how do people do this? And so I just wanted her insight and help on, is the way I'm feeling normal? And if it is, and why do I feel so weird? And what are my next steps? Not to immediately solve the problem, but so that I could figure this out. And the reason why I share this with you is because, do you think that sharing an anonymous story like that is going to be more effective and that people will be able to relate to more versus just handing a flyer to people and saying, here, call this number. They can help you with things such as daycare, I don't know, like whatever the generic flyers have. It's like there's a saying that says facts tell and stories sell, because just throughout history and research has proven that people connect to storytelling, because people can relate. They can see themselves in the other person's shoes. How many first-time moms will be able to relate to my story? And on top of that, here I am, a Mexican-American woman, sharing her experience about how it was asking for help through an employee assistance program. So that is my number 1 tip. If you want to stop listening to the video, you can. But that is my number 1 tip. Share stories. If people don't feel comfortable sharing their first name and last initial, that's fine. Respect their privacy. But see if you can get some feedback around people that have used the EAP program and just make it anonymous. Or just make up a storyline with some characters about this was the problem John Doe had, and this is why he went to EAP, and this was a solution. So always share a common problem that you're seeing, and then tell the story about what the process was like and the solution that they got, because people buy solutions. They don't buy services. They don't buy benefits. They want a solution. Okay? So that's tip number one. Tip number two on how to increase engagement to the EAP program and integrate it into your wellness program is to connect. Write that down. I learned this from, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but he was the former president and CEO of Welcoa, Dr. David Honeycutt. Before they took down all his videos and trainings, he's such an amazing speaker. I was able to see with this training where he talks about connect. Go to as many staff meetings that you can. Go to as many department meetings as you can and say, hey, talk to the manager, the director, the VP. I'd really like to tell your employees about XYZ and how it will make them more productive, release anxiety, perhaps help them with depression or whatever it is what you're going to say. Say, do you think I could take 3 to 5 minutes of your agenda, or 5 to 7 minutes, and expand on bullet point number 1, bullet point number 2, bullet point number 3. Reach out to as many managers, as many directors, as many VPs as you can and say, can I take up a few minutes of your agenda because I'd like to speak on this. And you have to be very specific and very concise. Don't get into this like long-winded email, because nobody reads it. Let's just be honest. Okay, so that is tip number 2. Connect. Tip number 1 was to tell stories about the results that people get regarding their problem and how EAP helped to solve and create a solution. Okay? Tip number 3 is to make it part of your overall communication strategy. And what I mean is, for example, if you're going to be having a lunch and learn where you're going to be talking about weight loss or sleep or back care, at the end, tie in a call to action. If you need more help, did you know that the Employee Assistance Program, which is a benefit to you, free of charge, confidential, can help you address XYZ? And on top of that, they include 5 complimentary sessions on financial planning, right? Whatever it is that your EAP offers. So make it part of your communication strategy. And so making it part of your communication strategy also leads to consistent calls to action. After every promotion, every campaign, any emails you send, you want to make it specific so that you only have one call to action. I'll talk about newsletters another time, but I've seen this so many times where like people write newsletters and they have a whole bunch of links and it's just so busy. People delete that stuff. Come on, when was the last time you read a newsletter like that? So whenever you're communicating an initiative, a program, a challenge, have one call to action at the end. If in the beginning it's to register or sign up, great. Once you have their attention and they're in, have one call to action throughout your entire communication strategy. So those are my top tips, my friends. Please share in the comments below. Ask me any questions. I'd love to make as many videos as possible because I wish I would have had this help and like mentorship when I was barely starting. But I love corporate wellness. And I don't know, I think maybe for the next video, I'll get into like politics and ambiguity and passive aggressiveness that happens in corporate wellness. I have so many stories to tell you. It is not even funny. But okay, I am at your service. I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe, give me a like, give me a heart, share this with your friends, and subscribe to my email list. I share just more tips about, the industry and what's going on. All right, guys, take care.